What a girl.
Part school teacher, part police chief, part lawmaker, part engineer. This is Jeffrey Gettleman, East Africa Bureau Chief of the New York Times, reporting from Adado, Somalia. 37-year-old Mohammed Aden is a man on a mission.
What I do daily basis is to solve the problems for the people, whether it's lack of foodness, water. Almost the first 6 months, we did security. Now we're forced to do for the development.
Since 2008, Mohammed has been the de facto mayor, governor, and even warlord of Adado, a dusty town in a destitute country, Somalia. The problems he faces are typical in Somalia. His background is not.
I was afraid when I was coming from Minnesota to come in here. I was afraid because I was, basically heard a bad thing about this region. But when I arrived, honestly speaking, my mind changed.
Mohammed returned in 2008 on a personal mission to aid victims of a drought. He left his country 16 years earlier after being shot in the ankle by a stray bullet when the country spiraled into anarchy after the government collapsed. He eventually made his way to the U.S., first living in a Miami homeless shelter, then taking a Greyhound bus to Minnesota, a promised land for Somali immigrants. There, he earned a college degree in Management Information Systems from Minnesota State by parking cars and working in a factory. Back in Somalia, armed with determination and donations from Somali expats, his hard work earned him the respect of locals, desperate for a leader with direction.
He is transparent to his community. Due to that reason, they are going to support him in any aspect.
And probably it's a name or some...
Mohammed turned them down twice before relenting. In less than 1 year, Mohammed has set up a local government, transforming Adado and the surrounding swath of central Somalia from an area haunted by bandits and warring Islamic factions into enclaves of peace.
In other works, you can measure your success, but this is very easy to measure for the success. You can see the people's eyes that you help them, and you feel good. You feel good about that.
He now provides safety, security, and jobs for his people. Mohammed calls these two tanks outside his office his Cadillacs. They remain a potent symbol that his relative oasis of stability is always at risk.
Tough parts of the job is you can't always solve the problem, people's problem, because your hands are tied. You don't have enough resources. There's no UN agencies working here. You don't have enough money. You can't help everybody. Although you want it, but you can't.
Despite the many compromises, locals appreciate schools, structure, and security that Mohammed's leadership has provided.
The security is number one, and that's where the life is started from. That's what he's done, number one. The rest of it, actually, he's still working on it. Special education is much better. There is a lot of secondary schools, primary schools right now, especially in the capital, Adado, and here as well. And actually, people like him so much. People like him so much, really.
Can you guys coordinate? But with Somalia's chronic chaos always at his doorstep, it's a fragile existence.
Whether I go back to Minnesota or stay in Somalia, that's the big question. I didn't decide it yet. But what I need from here is to train people so that they can teach them how to govern, educate them, all those, so that they can run their government or their administration effectively and efficiently, for that matter.
Mohammed doesn't shrink from that fact, but his improbable return home has been worth it.
It's hard to my kids, it's hard to my wife, but hey, I'm doing something big, and they understand that. dibna maan gaarin meel waxa maraynaa oo dhagax badan oo duurka ay dhahan